I knowed she was trouble as soon as she came through the door. She couldn't have been a day over 16 and had to have been at least 7 months along. Sashaying in without a speck of decency. No shame at all in the way her short dress stretched across her round belly. She didn't even try to hide it. Not to mention all that eye makeup. Lord, she looked like a raccoon. I was watching her from back in the kitchen, where I'd stepped to sneak a quick puff off my menthol. She walked up to the counter, climbed onto a stool, no regard for the fact that her behind was barely covered as she hitched her leg onto the seat. I made a mental note to get the Lysol out after she left. Back in my day, when I was 16, 1966, you found yourself in that condition, you kept yourself at home or went to visit an aunt in Kentucky. You didn't flaunt the situation in a hot pink sundress. I took a final puff, stubbed it out, pushed through the doors and said, "What can I get you?" Without looking up, she said, "Glass of milk and an order of onion rings." I wasn't one bit surprised by her lack of respect. As I went back into the kitchen, I saw out of the corner of my eye she was counting her change. After I put her onion rings in the deep fryer, I snuck another look to make sure she wasn't stealing a salt shaker or the napkin holder. I could just imagine her poor mama worrying herself sick over her unborn grandchild while her daughter's out looking for ways to steal onion rings, and by the way she was dressed, a sugar daddy. When I handed Miss Press her onion rings, glass of milk, and said, "Here you go," she still didn't look at me. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand straight up. I was going to make her look me in the eye at least once. It wouldn't kill her to show little respect to her elders. "Ketchup?" I barked, and that worked. She looked at me. I noticed right away what I'd mistaken for too much eye makeup was bruises that were starting to fade. I didn't have to look twice to make sure, because Lord knows I'd seen them same eyes staring back at me from my own mirror. I felt a tightness creep across my chest. Looking at her face was like looking at a ghost from my past. She saw my expression and exclaimed, "Oh, Lord, don't I look a sight? I ran right into my bedroom door a couple nights ago." I'd hate to see the door that does that to a person, was all I could think of to say. She looked back down at the counter, and I realized what I'd taken for lack of respect was plain old-fashioned shame, pure and simple. "My name is Millie." I held out my hand and she took it, her grip surprisingly strong. "I'm Tipsy. My name is Tipsy. Nice to meet you." Before I had time to stop myself, I said, "What kind of name is Tipsy?" "One that usually needs to be repeated a couple of times before people believe it's my real name. My mama, she's a real cut up." I wondered what kind of woman would name her kid Tipsy. "Where is your mama?" "I thought she was going to be here. I called her boyfriend, and he said she went down to Mobile with one of his buddies for a week or two." While I pondered that, she gulped down her milk and cleaned her plate till there wasn't a crumb on it. Poor kid, must have been starving. "You have any other family?" "I have a sister. She left last week to go to California." "Why didn't you go with her?" "We wasn't invited." "Honey, she just up and left you." "She left me a box of her clothes, seeing as how none of mine would fit me anymore." "What about your, I didn't know what to call the fella who was partly responsible for her predicament, so I gave up, pointed towards her belly. She touched her right eye gingerly and said, "Oh, he wasn't who I thought he was. My baby deserves better." "So do you." I'd never been so wrong about a person in my life. if you don't count Raylan. I felt another flutter in my chest, but this felt like something coming loose instead of tightening up. Maybe this is what they mean when they say something tugs at your heartstrings. Where are you staying? I have a friend. She's letting me stay in her room till her parents get back from vacation. What are you gonna do when they get home? That's when the cook shouted, "Order up!" So I didn't get to hear an answer if there even was one. I picked up the order, took it over to Shelby Jean at table 4, my mind racing. Had Tipsy seen a doctor? Was she planning on keeping her child, even if she wanted to? How could she? Was she in school? Did she want to be? Did her ignorant, selfish mama even know that her baby girl was pregnant? And sitting at my counter, half-starved and beaten black and blue? My racing mind came to a halt when Shelby Jean nudged me with her empty iced tea glass. As I refilled it, I saw her beady eyes staring at Tipsy. I realized she was seeing Tipsy the same way I had when she first came through the door. She saw a piece of white trash and tacky, tight dress looking for trouble. But we couldn't have been more wrong. What I saw now was a lost little girl paying for the stupidity of others, someone who just wanted to be loved like everyone else, but who went looking for it in the wrong place. I saw me 30 years earlier standing with Raylan in front of the Justice of the Peace. My husband, Raylan, he died a couple years ago when his heart gave out. He was a real piece of work. He left my face like Tipsy's more times than I could remember. Nobody ever knew the real Raylan. He could charm the skin off a snake. Yep, he was a sneaky one, and he could talk you into anything. I don't know, he talked me into marrying him the day I turned 16. Had my mama's signature on the marriage license before he even proposed to me. Shelby Jean poked me with her straw. "She giving you trouble?" I looked at her sour face and her new updo. "Trouble? Oh, Lord, no. That's Tipsy. She might start working here some." Shelby Jean almost spit out a piece of her Frito chili pie. "Millie, still picking up puppies off the side of the road? Raylan always said you was too tender-hearted." It took every ounce of willpower not to douse her new updo with my pitcher of sweet tea. "If I want to hire extra help, it's nobody's business but mine. Raylan can go to hell." Oh, wait, he's already there. I walked back over to the counter and patted Tipsy's hand. "I have an extra room upstairs rent-free. We open at 5 a.m. for breakfast. Of course, you can help with the dinner crowd. When the baby comes, you'll need some time to recover. We could put a crib in my office. You'll get 3 meals a day. The high school is within walking distance, and the health clinic is right around the corner there. Can you start tomorrow?" I knew I was being extra pushy, but I was afraid she'd chicken out. Sometimes it's harder to accept kindness from people than it is to accept meanness. I watched a tear roll down her cheek, and she said, "But why, you don't even know me." I took her by the shoulders so she could see me, really see me. "Oh, honey, yes, I do."